Howdy there once again, YouTube. Just a heads up. This video is meant to be uploaded the night of Christmas Eve, which is tonight, but it may not be up until Christmas Day due to how busy me and my family have been, but I'll try to get it up by tonight. And what are these people doing here? What are they doing? My name is Ben Ferraiuolo, and this is probably my last video of 2018. Here's the old faithful webcam pointing towards the Upper Geyser Basin. If you guys have not seen my website yet, please do so now if you wish. A link is on screen and is also posted in the description box below, right under my email address. Also, check out Scott's new channel called the NW Geology Guy. He has uploaded some really great content for a new YouTuber, so please go help his channel grow. First, I'd like to wish every one of you a Merry Christmas. I can't believe it, but the year is almost over. This year has gone by so fast and so many things have happened. For example, Indonesia got hit by 2 tsunamis this year alone. I mean, one location with 2 major tsunamis? That's weird. In 1 year? Man, that's crazy. My prayers go out to all the people who were affected by both tsunamis. The first tsunami was caused by a large earthquake, but just a few days ago, Mount Anak Krakatoa started erupting more violently than it had in a long time. There was a large volcanic blast, and some time later, a large tsunami smashed parts of Indonesia, killing at least 43 people and injuring hundreds of others. But right now, I heard that it's over 280 people that were killed by this tsunami, so my prayers go out to the families. This tsunami was not generated by an earthquake, as is the traditional manner. But this tsunami was reportedly caused by a mixture of a high tide and a volcanic event. Now, they state it was probably caused by an underwater landslide on the flanks of Anak Krakatoa. I have quickly looked at the seismic data for this region, and I have not seen much for this time period. Although, sadly, the closest station to these events is some ways away, probably around 80 to 100 miles away or so. But still, it still should have recorded this landslide since it was quite large enough to create a very large, very deadly tsunami. But it didn't show up on the seismographs. I'm still overlooking the data right now, so I'll let you guys know if I find anything. Even distant stations elsewhere in the world, like here in the United States, did not detect this landslide. Now, if this landslide was big enough to cause a very large tsunami, why didn't it create at least a small signal thousands of miles away? For example, the Kilauea explosive eruptions earlier this year were seen on seismic stations thousands of miles away. And the recent seismic mystery, dubbed the Mayotte event, was felt all the way across the world. But this landslide that killed more than 43 people and injured hundreds of others by means of a tsunami didn't show on any seismographs at all? Again, I'm still reviewing the data, but I really don't see much for this time period, guys. Alright, I'm getting off topic. In this video, I would like to show you guys another recent low-frequency event and a few other possible regular earthquakes for the Newberry caldera that were not reported. I would also like to show you how the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network completely removed the 2 recent LF events that I talked about that occurred on December 13th. Yes, they completely removed them from the catalog, and I have complete proof. But first, I would real quick like to show you the data for the recent swarm that took place at West Thumb Lake in Yellowstone. Alright, so here we are on the seismic program Swarm, YLT, for December 23rd, 2018. You can tell there was a small swarm. It wasn't major. Let's turn persistent rescale off real quick. So, again, we're here on Swarm. This is the data from seismic station YLT, which was the second closest station to this event, I believe. On December 23rd, some earthquakes did start to appear on seismic stations around Yellowstone Lake. According to the P-wave arrivals and surrounding stations, these earthquakes occurred most likely underneath West Thumb Lake, just slightly northeast of the station YDD. Now, station YDD resides on the coast of West Thumb Lake, which is also connected to Yellowstone Lake right here, near Grant Village, where old station H17A used to be. YDD effectively replaced H17A a few months ago on September 5th of this year. Now, these earthquakes did occur at a fast pace at times, yes, but they did not occur nearly as fast as we have seen before in this area. This is the 3rd swarm to appear at West Thumb Lake during this month of December. The first one was by far the largest, with around 68 microquakes occurring within about 3 hours or so, Only 9 of those earthquakes were reported, and so far none of these earthquakes here have been reported, but that could change in the coming days. I will very quickly show you the plots for these events, and we will move on to the main course. While showing you this data from YLT, please know the other stations are showing a higher frequency content than what is shown here on YLT. For some reason, YLT is showing lower frequencies than all of the other stations for this one swarm. Why is that? I have no clue. Alright, let's check it out real quick. This was a distant earthquake, possibly near the Maple Creek area, but let's check out the earthquakes that occurred near West Thumb Lake. It's possibly 3 right there, only going to 400 amplitude count, not too major. We had a few of them building right about here. And then here, let me pan this screen down just a little bit. There we go. So we got one right there. See, that goes to probably about 2,000 amplitude count, nothing too major. That goes to about 6,000. So these are probably around 1.0, 0.5 to 1.0 or so. Maybe there is like a 1.5 in here somewhere. And let's go forward. There's another one, and then there's another one right there. One right there, one down here. Let's see, there's another one, and another one. The characteristics are very similar to each other. Like, these earthquakes are very identical. Yeah, so not too many of them. There weren't that many. Let's see, there's about probably 3 right there. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right there. 10, probably 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, probably a little less than 20. I'm going to say probably around 18 earthquakes within, let's see, this was 1422, and then it ended around, so in less than an hour. In less than an hour, they're probably around 18 earthquakes. So nothing too major, guys. Let's check out the spectrogram for these earthquakes. Oh, that's very interesting. Look at this. Let's see. There was something going on in between these earthquakes that had a dominant low frequency. The earthquakes themselves had dominant mid-range frequencies. Okay, now let's check out the dominant frequencies for these 2 earthquakes here. Right about there, that is 2.27 hertz. So they're not technically low-frequency earthquakes. I bet some people might categorize them as low-frequency, but they do have some powerful frequencies going up to 10 hertz, so I don't know. Very interesting. Whoops, I hate it when that happens. Let's log power. Okay, so we got 2 of them there. Long tail. Look at how long the tail is. Now remember, my theory as to why this is occurring is that there's possibly a new hydrothermal system forming. That is why we see a bunch of rapid-fire sequences occurring at West Thumb Lake, in that area only, really. I mean, rapid-fire sequences do happen in other areas of Yellowstone, but they mainly, when the rapid-fire sequences occur, they mainly occur at West Thumb Lake. And my theory, again, to that is that there's a new hydrothermal system forming some new geysers. I don't know where it would form, but that's just a theory, guys. That's just a theory. So these all pretty much have mid-range frequencies. Some of them have a very long coda. Remember, coda is an end tail of an earthquake. And I'm unsure what this is right here. Notice this vibration or tremor or whatever. Well, it is showing on surrounding stations. But there are some certain stations like Borehole 944 that is not showing this at all. Even though Borehole 944 is very close to this station. But there are other stations miles away that are showing this. But it's mainly only the stations in the WY network that are showing this. No other network's really shown it. But look at this. It's not because sometimes something like this could be a scaling issue, a rescaling issue for the helicopters, but this isn't. Look, you could tell there was an obvious increase in activity right here. Very interesting. Look at that. Yeah, I really don't know what would be causing this, guys. I have no idea. But the dominant frequencies of this quote-unquote tremor are, let's see, very specific. To me, that looks synthetic. 4.65 hertz is the dominant frequency, so almost 5 hertz. So it's not really a low-frequency tremor, and also it's not showing on the boreholes. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I'm still stumped as to what this is, because it's been showing a lot lately. And then it just cuts out and goes back to normal. Then we see another burst of it down here. But to me, this does not look seismic to me. This looks like some type of human interference. That's just my take on it. Don't know what that is. Let's see the dominant frequency. Whoa. I don't know what this is. Let's check that out. Interesting. Well, I'll check that out later, but there's possibly a low frequency event right there, or that could be a teleseism from a large distant earthquake. I don't know. Now that that is over, let's move on. Next, I'd like to show you how the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network, also known as PNSN, removed 2 low-frequency earthquakes from their earthquake catalog. Remember, 2 videos ago, I talked about the recent earthquakes that were confirmed by PNSN to be low-frequency earthquakes on their Newberry caldera? Well, here's a quick part of that video where I talked about these. Put this down, and why is that unchecked? That's weird. I do not want that. See, local events, I do not want. I do not want explosions. I do not want unknown. I do not want region. I want low frequency right there. That is the only one to check for what we're trying to do right now, guys. Notice it says low frequency right there. Exclude Mount St. Helens events. I'm not going to do that, but you can exclude Mount St. Helens events since people already know it's pretty much an active volcano. So, advanced search parameters, nothing right now. Come on, Ben, press query. You can just keep that checked as all. Sort by date, magnitude, longitude. All right, so that's it. So yeah, just make sure magnitude is checked by all. Dates is 2000 to January 1st, or sorry, excuse me. The date is 2000. Only make sure go through it twice. Check. Sure. So once we do that, there we go. Let's press query. Now this will show us all low-frequency events from January 1st, 2000 to December 18th, 2018. Or December 19th, actually, sorry. Now again, once you are done setting the parameters, you gotta press query. Notice how there have been 141 low-frequency events in Washington and Oregon since January 1st, 2000. Also notice how the most recent low-frequency event occurred just about 5 days ago or so at Newberry Caldera in Oregon 13th. On December 13th. Right there, December 13th, 2 of them. 13. You can see that right there. And I'll show you in just Newberry Caldera, guys. Okay. Only within. See, the custom search with only low-frequency events selected showed 2 reported for Newberry on December 13th. They even occurred at 2 in the morning for this area, so we know they are not quarry blasts, because for one, quarries and mines usually are not allowed to blast at night, and 2, the characteristics of the removed events are indicative of low-frequency earthquakes being caused, most likely, by small amounts of magma. Quarry blasts can cause signals that look identical to low-frequency earthquakes, but they are slightly different, and usually can be differentiated with some analysis. Also, I even contacted some quarries in the area, and they said it was not them. You will see that in a second. If the amount of magma was much bigger, then the events would have probably been much more drawn out and much larger. Regardless, low-frequency events are always something you should watch out for at volcanoes. Now, I even posted the plots to these low-frequency earthquakes on my website here under Seismic Events on the Cascade Volcanoes Low-Frequency Events page. Look, here's the first one, and let's go down. Here's the second one, because they reported it, and I was taking them from the catalog and putting the plots on here. They said they reported it. They said it was low frequency, occurred in the morning, was not a quarry blast, so why were they removed? So they're now saying they did not occur at all. But the data shows them right here. You can even download the data for yourself if you wish to investigate this further. Now here's the email I sent to one of the quarries that, if these were quarry blasts, would probably be responsible for them. Just know though, the characteristics of the LF events in Newberry really do not appear to be quarry blasts at all. I said here, hey, Vic Russell, my name is Ben Ferraiuolo. I'm an amateur seismologist who monitors volcanic hazard areas across the country. I have a quick question. I've been monitoring Newberry Caldera Volcano, resides south of Bend, Oregon, and hosts 2 caldera lakes and is what formed Paulina Lake and Peak. There have been some low-frequency earthquakes. LF quakes can be caused by magma, lava, when the magma grows restless, over the past few years. However, I noticed a few recently. Quarry and mine blasts can also create seismic signals that look similar to LF earthquakes. I'm simply wondering, 1, did you conduct any quarry blasts at around 2:15 to 2:25 a.m. Pacific time, December 13th, which is when those low-frequency events occurred? And number 2, any quarry blasts around 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time, December 22nd, which is when the most recent unreported low-frequency events did occur. I'm simply wondering about those times so I can mark off the LF events as quarry blasts. However, these events do not appear to be quarry blasts, but I just wanted to cover all my bases first before I go ahead, blah, 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 Merry Christmas. We have not been drilling and shooting for the last 2 months. No, you can contact us anytime, and I said thank you, have a great day. So it's not them at all. Now here we are at the custom search page that I showed in my recent video. Yes, this is the same exact page from that video I just showed. Since making that video, I have not refreshed or even closed out of this page at all. It's been sitting here the whole time, and neither has my computer been completely turned off. So you could see two events reported right here, right? It says 2018, 12/13, just like we saw in the last video. 2018, 12/13, that means December 13th of this year at 2:20:19 PST, which is 2:20 in the morning. Remember, the parameters for this search that I showed in my last video and also on this page are to show confirmed low-frequency events only. Now, let's check out the event page real quick for the first one. Let's go over here. Let's right-click, open link in new tab. Let's see what it says. Nope. Looks like it doesn't exist. Could I be losing my mind? Let's go back real quick. Okay, we're back. Now, let's click the next event page for the second earthquake that was removed. Unless I'm just losing my mind. Come on. Very strange. Maybe I really am losing my mind. Or maybe PNSN is losing theirs. Now, let's go back real quick. Now, is this a problem on my side? Let's real quick click a random event page and see if it works. Let's go to just one of the random ones from earlier this year. Open link in new tab. Okay. Look, it's here. It's not me. It's not me. They even have the waveforms on there. Okay, so this is very interesting. Let me go back. Okay, so you can see them right here, right? So the event pages are missing for these two low-frequency events right here. We already know they are not quarry or mine blasts. So why did PNSN remove them when even the data speaks for itself? Now, I will show the data for these events and others in just a second. However, I want to do something first. To top it all off, I'm going to refresh the page. Just keep in mind, I have not refreshed this page since I made that video I talked about earlier. So why don't we do this for all to see? Let's click refresh. And I'm going to pan this up so you can see me click refresh. And you'll still be able to see these right here. Now notice. The most recent, 12/13, 2018, 12/13, 2018. And before that, it was 5/01. Click refresh. Let's see if it disappears. Ready? Let's see. I'm clicking refresh. Are they going to disappear? Drum roll, please. Oh my goodness. They're gone. Huh? Where'd they go? They disappeared. Well, the event pages are gone. They disappeared because I pressed refresh. So they're gone. Completely and utterly removed. Would you look at that? The events completely disappeared, never to be seen from again. Poor guys. Well, at least on this page. The seismic data does show these events for Newberry quite well. There was also another set of low-frequency events that occurred about a day or so ago at the infamous volcano that actually not many people know about. Now, once again, we know these are not quarry blasts. Now, it almost looks like something is traveling underground. I do believe, personally, it is a small amount of magma traveling from point A to point B, but a very small amount. So why did PNSN remove the events? I even talked to the local quarries and they said it wasn't them. Also, the events seem to have been occurring underground due to their waveform characteristics, and they also seem to have been coming from the Newberry caldera area itself and slightly beyond the crater. So I highly doubt there is someone a few miles underground blowing stuff up near an active magma chamber. If so, they would be the dumbest people in the history of dumb people. Now, to even top it off even further, I don't know if you can see this or not, but there are two dots right here. See, there's one right there, 1.0, 1.4 kilometers in depth on the 13th at 10:20, which is 2:20 a.m. Huh, interesting. And a 0.9 at 2:17 a.m., which is 10:17 UTC right now, December 13th. Okay, that's interesting. USGS is still reporting these events. Now, there are no parameters on here set for earthquake types. The USGS still has these events in their catalog, but PNSN completely removed them. Why is that? Next, I'm going to show the seismic plots for these two low-frequency earthquakes that were removed, but USGS is still reporting them. Actually, you know what? Let's press refresh. Will it disappear? Did they remove them too? Let's see. Nope, they're still reporting them. Huh. That's very odd. Okay, as you will see, these events were not quarry blasts, but really were low-frequency earthquakes. Why would PNSN remove two very important events? Especially when the most recent was never reported at all. Yes, folks, it happened again about a day or two ago, and I'll show you the seismic data for that in just a second. First off, here's the first removed low-frequency earthquake from CIHL, which is, I believe, at the caldera itself, yes, but on the northeast portion, I believe. So yeah, we have it right here. You can tell dominant frequencies being low 4 hertz, but the strongest one was right here at about 2 hertz. These are very similar to the other reported low-frequency events from earlier this year and other years as well. They didn't remove those, so why'd they remove this? And here's that same event, but on CPCO, again, dominant low frequencies. Same, around 2 Hz is the strongest frequency. Now, the two plots I just showed were for that first removed earthquake. Here's the second removed earthquake right here. Remember, dominant low frequencies below 4 Hz, with the strongest frequency, being at about 2 Hz, a little less than 2 Hz. So very similar. And then here's from the other neighboring station. Same event, about 2 Hz, low frequency. Okay, so we can obviously see these are not quarry blasts, guys, because quarry blasts would be much different. Sometimes quarry blasts also show a spike in frequency in the beginning and then draw down. I don't know. So we could pretty much see that these truly were a pair of low-frequency events. Now, these two events were not separated, but seem to be connected by either multiple tiny low-frequency earthquakes or one single low-frequency background tremor. Most of the events that occur in pairs, which I have seen 3 pairs so far this year, all occur in the same way. One occurs at a location under Newberry, and then occurs, again, just a few kilometers away from the original event just a few minutes later. In the middle of them, there is usually some type of low-frequency background tremor, so the data shows me that when these events occur, it is likely something is moving upwards and towards a certain direction, and stops or cools once it meets resistance. Again, it is likely this is a very small amount of magma, but it seems to be increasing at Newberry over the past few years. Is this a telltale sign of something that could be approaching years down the road, or is this how this volcano works? Regardless, magma is not peaceful and will most certainly create a large earthquake swarm prior to an eruption, but please monitor this location closely. Next, I'm going to show you 3 possible unreported earthquakes. I don't believe they can be considered low-frequency earthquakes, but I haven't seen them reported yet, so I'm just deciding to show you. Also, they show many, many, many miles away, so I doubt these are quarry blasts as well. Now here we are back at the seismic program Swarm with data from station CPCO, which resides pretty much right smack dab in the center of Newberry caldera. Now if you ever wish to know the locations of any stations that I show in this video or on the plots for my website, then please come to this part of this video or to the IRIS GMAP, which you can just select a network code, which for this would be CC. Press update map, and it shows you all the stations within a certain network. I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. Remember, the parts section is below as well. Now, there are a few other stations in this area, but the main ones I use are these. Now, we can see down here, SVIC right there. And then we go back, SWNB is right there. And then we go here, CPCO. Notice how it's right smack dab in the center of the caldera. Then Norm is right there as well. And then we've got CIHO, KWBU. Okay, so we've got a good array, and there's many other stations in this area, but this is just the stations for the CC network. So if you ever wonder for any of the plots I show in this video, just come back to this part of the video. So these events I'm about to show do have lower frequencies, yes, but to me they look more like regular earthquakes with mid-range frequencies. However, I could be wrong about that, since terminology in seismology is not 100%. I have already cross-correlated these events using multiple surrounding stations in the program waves to confirm that these were not caused by any type of surface interference, so these are real. Now let me turn persistent rescale off. Let me do a 0.7 Hertz high-pass filter to get rid of those pesky background microseisms. Okay, so here is the first one at 1708. Remember, this is on December 19th, 2018. Here's the first one, not very big. It is emergent, so this earthquake could have occurred farther away from the caldera, but I did not see any earthquakes reported for this time period, so I don't know where it could have came from. There it is right there. Let's look at the dominant frequencies real quick. I usually use the spectral plot for that. Strong frequencies going up to 10 Hertz, but the dominant frequency is about 3.14 Hertz. So it does have lower frequencies, yes, but I don't know. This could also be a distant earthquake, maybe a few hundred miles away or so. So I don't know. Now these right here looks like they actually occurred at the caldera itself. That's what it looks like from the P-wave arrivals. Now look at this. So these are not really low frequency earthquakes. You can tell they do have frequencies going all the way up to 20 Hertz, but the strongest frequencies of these two events combined is the same, about 3.75 hertz, and the second strongest is about 3.27 hertz. So it is lower than what we usually see, yes, but still, I don't think it can be categorized as a low-frequency earthquake. So we got that one, we got that one, and remember, none of these have been reported. I have not seen any of these reported. Let's see, there was one right there, but I think there is, oh, there's two right here. 1810 UTC, and then 1811 UTC. There were two emergent events. Very interesting, actually. Here's the first one. Here's the spectrogram for it. And then go to the next one, and they're very emergent. They almost look like rock falls. Like, this is very indicative of what rock falls and avalanches kind of look like. They do have mid-range frequencies, and they are emergent, but I don't know. I don't think there are any avalanches at Newberry. I mean, there could have been some rock falls, but multiple ones happening in just the same day, within like an hour or two of each other. I don't know. Maybe. But these, to me, look like actual earthquakes. Except I really don't know what this could be. This is definitely emergent, but it is showing on many distant stations, guys. So these events did occur. So we got one right there, two right there. Looks like a tiny one right there. And then one right there, and then another one right there. And that's pretty much it for the rest of that day. So, I've already confirmed with surrounding stations in the program waves that these were indeed coming from near Newberry caldera, and that these were not quarry blasts. Now I'm about to show you the unreported set of low-frequency events. They carried the same characteristics as the events on December 13th and May 1st of this year. They even occurred in a pair, once again. So let's open that data real quick. Let's close file. Let's shut this off. Go to open file. Let's go back real quick. Go to 1222 and do CPCO. And it is opening. Let me open it. And here it is right here. Don't worry, I already looked at this. I thought this was some type of tremor. Very high frequencies, guys. This is definitely a storm or something. Definitely not anything seismic or underground, guys. I mean, look at this. This very high frequencies. If this was a volcanic or harmonic tremor, you'd see it right down here below 5 hertz. Usually never looks like this ever. This looks like a storm, or I don't know if it's a storm. I don't know, but it definitely looks like something. But still, that even if this was a tremor, I'd be more concerned about the low-frequency earthquakes, actually. Now, I have already confirmed with surrounding stations and the program waves that these were indeed coming from beneath Newberry caldera. These were not quarry blasts, they contained dominant low frequencies, they were not teleseisms, and they seemed to travel from point A to point B. But I have yet to determine the exact direction they traveled. Each time this happens, it really does look like some thick fluid, like magma, was moving from one point to another. Keep in mind that the last time this happened was on December 13th and the events were removed. These events here I'm about to show were never reported. So why is PNSN not covering these events when they surely know these are quite real and are occurring underneath the caldera? Even if they were hiding these events, that really wouldn't make much sense because the amount of magma to cause this wouldn't be too alarming and wouldn't really freak anyone out because not many people monitor this volcano anyways. However, it could be increasing, so please help me monitor this area closely. Once again, we're going to turn persistent rescale off, do a high pass 0.7 hertz filter, just real quick. Okay, let's check this out real quick. Here they are. Let me go to the waveforms real quick. Here are the unreported low-frequency events that contain the same characteristics pretty much, the same characteristics as the events on December 13th and May 1st. So, very interesting. Look at this. Let me go forward. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? You can see, just like before, there's one low-frequency earthquake. Then there's some type of tremor or something in the middle. And then there's the other earthquake right there. And then a little bit of something at the end. Now, I already confirmed on waves that this was shown on multiple surrounding stations, guys. Multiple. Now, let's check out the spectrogram. Below the 5 hertz line is usually where volcanic things occur, guys. Most like harmonic tremor, volcanic tremor, low-frequency earthquakes caused by magma usually all occur under 5 hertz. So if someone tells you, oh yeah, if an eruption was about to happen, or an eruption's coming in the next 6 months or something, all this would be red. This would all be red, so, who cares? Guys, no, it'll never be all red. Now, prior to an eruption, once in a great while, there's an upwards gliding tremor, but that's pretty rare. That does not happen all the time. That didn't happen with the Kilauea eruptions or other eruptions that are going on. But always watch out for a long-lived tremor that seems dark orange to red underneath the line. That would be red flags right there. And here, it's pretty much close to a red flag, guys. But it's nothing major, because it only happened a few times. But this could mean that something is growing restless down there. And these were not quarry blasts. Once again, I have already confirmed they were not quarry blasts. These truly were coming from underneath the caldera. Now let's check out the dominant frequencies of the first event real quick, which occurred on December 22nd, 2018 at 23:43 UTC. Log power off. Let's go to spectra. The two strongest frequencies were at about 2.69 hertz and at about, 1.26 hertz. And it goes down after about 4 hertz. So this is definitely a low frequency earthquake, guys, for sure. Whoops. Now let's go to the tremor in the middle. Remember how there's almost like a tremor or something going on right here. Let's see the dominant frequency for this real quick. Dominant frequency, 2.62 hertz. So a little higher, but still low frequency event. Let's go to the other low frequency earthquake. Check out the dominant frequencies of that one. Wow, very interesting. There seem to be 4 peaks. 3 are very sharp peaks, and 1 is slightly rounded. Look at that. So about 2 hertz, between about 2.14 hertz and 1.37. Definitely another low frequency earthquake. So we just confirmed these are frequency earthquakes, guys. We did. And then there's another event right here with probably higher frequencies, I could tell. So what is going on, guys? And these were never reported, and the other earthquakes, the low-frequency earthquakes to occur at Newberry on December 13th were removed. That's why I'm monitoring this area very, 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 very closely. There's actually a lot of people there today. Interesting. So, guys, that was pretty interesting. Why did PNSN remove those low-frequency events from December 13th and also not report the most recent set of low-frequency events? We already know it is highly unlikely these were quarry blasts, so what gives? I hope they decide to retract their attempt in removing these events, because these LF events are extremely intriguing. Had I not decided to monitor all data sources possible, I would have never found out about this, and it would have remained a secret, and probably nobody would have known about this. Regardless, please help me monitor this area closely. Newberry Caldera in Oregon, which resides just south of Bend, Oregon, is not dead and is very alive. When will be its next eruption? Who knows? However, it is said a large volcanic eruption occurs in the Cascade Range about 2 or 3 times per century, per 100 years. Well, it has been 40 years since our last major eruption, and about 103 years since the major eruption prior to that, which occurred at Lassen Peak, so it is very likely one of the Cascade volcanoes will become very active in the next 10 years. But which one will it be? Please let me know in the comments section below which volcano you think will erupt next in Washington, Oregon, and California. Also, guys, I know I said in this video, that 43 people were killed and hundreds of others were injured by the volcanic tsunami in Indonesia, but I did find out, I think I did say it actually earlier, that the death toll has reached around 280, with hundreds and hundreds of others injured and seeking shelter. Please pray for them a lot, guys, and give them the best present of all, the prayers of the saints. Remember, saints are not those who are crowned by Catholics. Saints are those who believe in Jesus and are saved. It's simple as that. Please pray for the people in Indonesia. Now, we also looked at the recent earthquake swarm at West Thumb Lake, which marks the 3rd swarm of this month for that specific area. Steamboat Geyser in Norris Geyser Basin, which, as you know, cannot be seen from this webcam, still sits at its 31st eruption, but it should be erupting any day now. Sadly, seismic station YNM was down for the 31st eruption, so I was not able to upload the seismic plots for that eruption to my website. It is due to erupt soon, though. Will it reach number 32 before the year ends? This already is the most active year ever on record for Steamboat Geyser, but the eruptions are getting very small. The past few eruptions have been really small, and even the most recent one put out less water than most of the other eruptions this year. Is it dying off? Or will Steamboat Geyser remain active permanently and erupt about once every week and a half at this current strength? Because I thought in my head, hey, maybe it's not dying, maybe it's actually just leveling off and it's just going to permanently stay active. Now that is entirely possible, but we will have to wait and see. The year is almost over, guys, and that means this is most likely my last video of the year 2018. It has been a very fun ride, guys, and I will see you next year. My next video to put out will most likely be my monthly and yearly volcano update, but I will of course put out another video if anything major or concerning happens. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful Christmas and New Year. Please spend this time with your family and feel free to open the Bible and read the historical account of the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I have been receiving some backlash lately for telling people about my beliefs, but that's okay, it is expected. Remain humble to live and let live. Remember, the truth is always considered hate or fear to those who hate or fear the truth. Ben Ferraiuolo signing off, and I'll see you next year. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!